Hey, what's up everyone, and welcome back to the SBL Season 3. We're on Week 7 today, and we are going to be going up against the Nidokaiser Inferno, and their coach, our boy, Iron. Alright, now last time we faced Iron was way back in SBL Season 1, where we had a bit of a nail biter, but I was able to pick up a 1-0 victory because Mega Aggron is the GOAT. But I don't have Mega Aggron today, so whatever. Okay, now for this season, Iron is, I believe, 4-2 going into this game. And much like Zap was last week, after we beat Zap, he took over the division lead after winning, so that's cool for him. Alright, now, enough dilly-dallying, let's go ahead and get on to what Iron brought here. Alright, we see this Mamoswine here. He just picked that up before this battle, actually, like that and 4 other things. Yeah, whatever. Okay, Mamoswine. I have this in the IPL right now, and it's one of my kill leaders, believe it or not. It's grounded ice is such a good offensive typing, and yeah. It gave him the ground type he was lacking before, so yeah. He's got one of the new kids there, the Lycanroc Dusk form, which is the best of the Lycanrocs. Because it gets the Tough Claws ability, it has, I think, the best attack of the 3, and it's not as fast as Lycanroc Day, but it doesn't really need to be. And it gets Excel Rock, so that's cool. Alright, he's got the Alola Marowak there. And I think part of the reason he picked this thing up, along with the Mamoswine and 2 other things that we'll get to later, was for one of its abilities, the Lightning Rod, which, you know, with how I've been using Tapu Koko this season, it's totally reasonable for him to get that. But this Alola Whack here, it's pretty slow, but it hits really hard and it has pretty good physical defense. Like, Thick Club makes this thing nothing to be trifled with. Alright, the next he's got the Como-O, which is the new pseudo-legendary from 7th gen. This Como here got a huge buff in Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon, because now it gets a whole lot more moves. It gets its own Z move, which, well, 1, this isn't his Z Captain, and 2, that wasn't allowed anyway, because it's Omni boosting and we didn't allow that. But yeah, this thing has a lot of different sets it can run, and I have to be ready for all of them. Alright, he's got a Venusaur there, which is his Mega Venusaur, and I know all about Mega Venusaur. This thing's the definition of bulky offense, and if I'm not careful, this thing can wall me to everywhere. Alright, and the last but certainly not least, he's got the Minior there, with its all crazy swirly eyes and stuff. What this thing basically does is just Shell Smash and Destroy, so I have to make sure I don't get Shell Smashed up on and destroyed. Alright, that's the team he did bring. Now what he didn't bring, let's see if I can remember everything. The first thing he didn't bring, and I prepped a lot for, was the Mimikyu, which I believe is actually his actual Z Captain. It has like 9 kills on the season. I prepped pretty much for it, and at the end of the day, I was glad not to see it. Alright, now let me talk about the 2 things that he picked up. The first being Infernape, which that's a meme in the SBL. But yeah. Infernape, I can see why he didn't bring it. I mean, I have a Lando T that can do Lando T things, so. And I could have scarfed that too, so. But we'll talk about my team in a moment. And the other thing is a Sableye, regular Sableye, which all that thing does is do pranks or shenanigans. It's not very bulky, it's not very offensive, it just kinda annoys things. Alright. Another thing he didn't bring is his other poison type, Ariados, which, to be honest, all that thing is really good for is Hazard Lead with a Focus Sash, so I can see why he didn't bring that. Especially because my Defogger of this week is immune to the hazards it does set, being Sticky Web and Toxic Spikes. And the last thing he didn't bring was the Mantine, which is honestly his best defog option. Yeah. And he hasn't brought it a whole lot, so. And I have a Jellicent that can kind of wall that too, and it can't really do much back to me. But to be fair, Jellicent and Mantine can't really do much to each other, so what you gonna do? Alright, that's his team. Let me go ahead and quickly go over what I brought. We got Jellicent here. It's a little bit of bulkier speed, but also has a little bit of speed to outspeed the Alola Marowak, if it had to come to that. Yeah, just standard stuff from Jellicent. Alright, Lando T is another Rocky Helmet set. A little less in defense, it has a little extra speed too for a couple things. Looking at that, mostly the Venusaur, I believe. Possibly the Minior, because I did have the Stone Edge on this set, I believe. Okay, yeah. And like I alluded to, Lando actually has defog this week, so that's cool. Alright, Gallade is a sword stance set this week, with 3 attacks, and the last attack I don't think actually got shown in this battle, so I'm going to save what that is for another day. But yeah, dual stab is pretty effective against this team, so yeah. Alright, we got Golisopod here for a rare appearance. Like, when rebuilding this team, you actually have to rebuild it after Iron made all his transactions. Like, half of these mons in this team were not originally on my team, so yeah. Alright, Golisopod is there because, like, I noticed after his transactions he was a bit weaker to water, and I was like, oh wait a second, I have a Golisopod on my team, let's bring that this time. Yes, I actually had to remember Golisopod was on my team. Alright, and we're running a Charty Berry, which is the Rock Resist Berry, to basically be able to take on either the Lycanroc or the Minior. And yeah, those 2 rock types, yeah, I wasn't about to bring Moltres to this battle. Especially because this edgy doggo here has Priority Rock, which, that's a big no-no for my Moltres. Alright, where was that? Oh yeah. Metagross. A little bit more of a defensive spread himself, and he's my Stealth Rocker this week. Dual Stab, Bullet Punches, and Headbutt. Yeah, and with the Kasib Berry, or Kasib, I don't know how it's pronounced. It's the Ghost Resist Berry, that was meant to take on the Mimikyu, but of course he didn't bring the Mimikyu, so oh well. And lastly, Nihilego, standard stuff, extra belt, 4 attacks, yada yada yada. Okay, now, I originally did have Tapu Koko on this team, and for the first time this season, I'm not bringing it. And I was kind of iffy on it at first because at the time he had 3 poison types. I mean, because Alola Marowak was originally Garbodor. But then after he made his transactions, he picked up a ground type and Mamoswine, which he lacked before, and then he had a Marowak, which can have Lightning Rod, so I was like, yeah, let's not bring Tapu Koko. And yeah, let's just go ahead and see how this goes. I decided to go ahead and lead off I led off with my Golisopod as he led off with his Lycanroc, and I went for the Aqua Jet there, in case he decided to go for a rock move himself, which I think would have put me into emergency exit range, but had I known he was going to click the move he clicked, which was the Stealth Rock, I would have gone for Liquidation and just killed this thing right after that. But then he goes for Excel Rock and actually crits me through my Charty Berry, which didn't actually end up mattering because he didn't put me into emergency exit range, and I kill him off with the Aqua Jet, and that's Golisopod's first kill of the season. And that's something I'm gonna have to keep in mind for later. It's not he goes to Como, and I'm like, okay, well I can't really do much to this, so let me just go into Lando real quick. Intimidate, as he shows to be a Dragon Dance set. Which, given that I had my Lando out here, wasn't too big of a threat. As he gets up another Dragon Dances, I just want to get rid of these rocks, so that way, as soon as I send my Golisopod in, he's not emergency exited out. And he goes for Iron Head here. Like, okay, I know his name's Iron, but I think he was just going for the flinch here. Like, really and truly, if he wanted to go for the damage, he probably should have gone for a Dragon move if he had that. I mean, if it was Outrage, then I could have just switched to my Metagross and done some damage with Zen Headbutt. If it was Dragon Claw, then eh. Well, I don't know entirely what his moves were, but like, just showing the Iron Head there, like, that just makes me think he was going for the flinch. Which thankfully he doesn't end up getting, but my Earthquake doesn't do a whole lot. And then, I actually switch out my Landorus there, expecting him to try to go for the Iron Head again to try to flinch me down. And the idea with switching into Golisopod here was I was hoping he could get me into my emergency exit range so that I could get back into Lando, intimidate him again, put him back at neutral attack, and then kill him off with Earthquake after he hits me with another Iron Head for Rocky Helmet damage. But his Iron Head actually does not put me into emergency exit range, and I'm like, okay, well that's a free first impression for me, so that's a little more chip damage. And then he goes for the Drain Punch, revealing that, which isn't really going to make much of a difference in the end, but I do get the emergency exit I wanted back into my Landorus. And then he ends up going for Iron Head again on this next turn, which Rocky Helmet's going to be a 2-hit KO, but I actually flinched. Which meant that my Lando was going down here. And that also meant I couldn't get a direct kill on him with Earthquake. And so I couldn't save my Lando afterwards as a sack. So that was unfortunate, but that's just how the cookie crumbles. So he kills me off with another Iron Head here, as he also kills himself to the Rocky Helmet, so it's a double down here, so I figure, why don't I just go back into my lead Golisopod? As I believe he goes into his Mega Venusaur. Yes, he does. And I figured now is as good a chance as any to get into to just get off another first impression, because what else would I do there, really? As he goes for Petal Blizzard, and I'm actually kind of surprised that it didn't kill me. And then wanting to save my Golisopod even further, I go into my Metagross as he goes for the Leech Seed, which was actually a really good play on his part. As I believe he shows off Earthquake next turn, so I just get up my rocks. Yeah, he shows off Earthquake here, and I'm just like, okay, let me not just continue with this, and let me just go sack my Golisopod real quick. So I do sack my Golisopod, and what that allowed me to do was, after he kills me, go into my Gallade, click Swords Dance, and basically win from there. Well, not really win, but do a whole lot of damage. As all he really does is Leech Seed me. As I show off the Swords Dance. And then at that point, he doesn't really have much of a switch in the Psycho Cut. Yes, I read Psycho Cut and not Zen Headbutt, because Gallade does get Psycho Cut, and that doesn't miss. And it was enough to kill the Mega Venusaur. And then, if I were Iron here, I probably would have sent out the Alola Marowak, because that would have forced my Gallade out, because I did not have knockoff on this set, so yeah. But he goes into the Minior, and then I'm looking at the calcs, like, even in Shield Down form here, which is bulkier, I was still killing with Drain Punch, so like, okay, I don't really know why you went into this first. And even if he had enough bulk to survive, which he would have had to been, like, really bulky for that, I had a move to be able to... Well, I still have my Metagross alive, too, so I could Bullet Punch that, so I don't really know why he went into the Minior here, but I kind of just killed off on the next turn with Drain Punch, and then Gallade's back up to full HP, and then he goes into a Alolan Marowak. And not wanting my Gallade to take a huge amount of damage, because that's actually useful for later, I go ahead and sack off my Metagross here, expecting him to go for the Shadow Bone, which is exactly what he does. Then I reveal the Case of Berry. But obviously, since Alolan Marowak's so strong with the Thick Club, that doesn't matter. And that actually lets me get into my Nihilego for free, and then click the Power Gem button. And then that kills the thingy here. And with the Beast Boost, that would have been able to kill the Mamoswine in the next turn, actually, unless he was super bulky. And if he was not Choice Scarf, which he shows to be here. And so my Nihilego goes down, that's alright. And I counted afterwards, he wasn't killing my Mega Gallade unless he got a crit with Earthquake here, which he thankfully does not. And I go for the Drain Punch and kill him off, and I didn't notice this at the time of the battle. I only noticed this after the replay, that I actually got a crit with the Drain Punch. And I hope to goodness that did not matter to him. It probably didn't, because while Mamoswine does have pretty good HP, it doesn't have the best defenses in the world. So I lean on that didn't matter, but if it did matter, then he would have been really low on HP. Now, I'll just go ahead and reveal what the last move on Gallade was. It was Shadow Sneak. I was ready I had a lot of priority on this team. Gallade with Shadow Sneak, Metagross with Bullet Punch, Golisopod with First Impression and Aqua Jet. But what I think would have happened if the crit on Drain Punch did matter is I either would have killed him off with Drain Punch, or I would have healed enough HP with Drain Punch. Oh wait, I didn't say that right, did I? I would have Revenge killed him with Shadow Sneak. Then or I hopefully would have had enough HP after recovering with Drain Punch to be able to live another Earthquake no matter what, unless he crit me. And even then, if he did crit me, I still had Jellicent in the back with full HP. And yeah, that probably could have done some damage too. But nonetheless, that ends in a 2-0 victory for us. And to be honest, I think Iron played pretty well in this game. Like, he made a couple of really good predictions with the Venusaur, like going for the Petal Blizzard as I switched back into my Golisopod, and the Leech Seed as I switched into Metagross. The Minior play was the most confusing to me, but yeah, it doesn't matter at the end of the day. So yeah, we take that, and this actually vaults us back up into first place in the league, and we were guaranteed to keep that after this battle, no matter what a couple other results were. And next week, we're going to play the second place team in the league. Ooh. So that's going to be a dramatic battle against one of our new coaches, Alio, who, much like Iron here, is from outside of the United States, but unlike Iron, he's not from Germany, he's from the Philippines. So yeah, look forward to that battle, and I'll see you guys next time.